Hello, everyone. It's Christina J. Woods. I'm coming to you with a quick tip today about making candles for beginners. Today, I want to talk about colors. I want to talk about which ones that I have used and how they work for me. And hopefully, you'll learn something that you can use on your candle making experience. Today, my goal is simply to just get one subscriber. That's my goal today. Not 500 likes. I don't want anybody smashing anything. Just if I can get one subscriber today, that'll help me reach my goal. If you want to speak or say hello, or you're a fellow candle maker, say something to me below. If you're watching a replay, type in replay. I want to know that you were here. I plan to read all of my comments. And if I can comment back or you need me to, hopefully I can do that as well. So I'm just going to get started. Today, I'm not going to talk about every kind of colorant. I'm going to talk about what I know. And what I know is that one kind form of candle colorant, they can come in a liquid form. Okay. And this way you can measure how many droplets, especially if you're formulating. If you're in the beginning process where you're actually formulating colors, formulating fragrances, this is when you can practice 1 or 2 drops and see what it looks like. And what I like to do so that I don't waste a whole bunch of candles doing this, if it's a color I never did, I don't do like 1 with 4 drops and see what happened, and 1 with 5, and then 1 with 3. Not like that. That can get to wasting a whole lot of money. Okay, because you're buying glasses for each of these. So unless you're actually going to utilize those and sell them, you will probably lose money. But remember, in the beginning, you want to be just making a bunch of them and getting them out there to get up to your 80 whatever amount of candles that it takes to just simply perfect the basis for yourself so that you know what you want to do. My tip for how I see what one color does for my measurements, if I use liquids or something like that, one 16-ounce jar, 4 ounces of wax, do all the drops you want, pour it in there, let it dry. Okay. Layer 2, different amount of drops, let it dry. Not on, and keep doing that, going until you fill your to the top. So what you've just done is you've created a candle that you probably can use at home or something like that, or for advertising in some kind of picture maybe, because it'll probably be beautiful. But guess why I wanted you to do that? Because now you don't have to put 5 colors beside each other and figure out nothing. It's all in one jar. You can see the variations. This is 6 drops. This is 7 drops. This is 3 drops. Remember, I want to help you get there quicker, faster, and not maybe make all the mistakes I made. 20 years of making and mixing stuff, I'm telling you, I've made some mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Oh, real important note while I'm on this. Please make sure you're reading your directions. Make sure you're reading your fact sheets, your data sheets. And let me tell you why. You don't want to miss and by just mistakenly use your soap colorants, which could be liquid, right? You don't want to miss and put that inside your wax, and vice versa. Okay. It's not going to blend. The water and oil, water and wax, none of it. It's going to be horrible. You'll light that candle and start hearing pop, 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 pop. It'll sound like a whole section of a band is in your kitchen. And sometimes you might only have a little bit on popping, but trust me, it sounds so loud. So I've even made that mistake. Not exactly that way, but I've like maybe been cleaning up and mistakenly drop a drop of water in something that was already hot. And as soon as it hit, it sounded like I'm about to fry some chicken. It don't mix. Trust me on that, okay? So if you're buying your kits from out the store or something, don't say, oh, well, this little colorant over here is a little cheaper. Let me grab that. Sometimes you want to already know what you're going to try maybe, okay? So that would go back to a couple videos I did ago where I talked about structure. You're going to figure out what you want to make before you even start, okay? Or at least you're practicing. Give yourself a goal. What are you going to focus on? And if, once again, if you're just focused on basic technique that you want to perfect, then my suggestion to you would be, like I said, I think that's a cheaper way with colorants to practice with the colorants and see what they turn out like. I say the same thing about color blocks. Now, I love color blocks. Okay. I love them And I kind of freehand. I've been doing it a minute and I've been using the same colors for so long, but mine come on like a block and they're very, very concentrated. So the more shavings I put in, the darker and darker and darker and heavier it gets. Okay. Now, here's the thing. You can do that practicing the same way as the first one. No more lining up all the jars and drying 7 candles will get 7 colors out of one block. Go ahead and pre-measure out a couple of ounces. And if you say to yourself, you say, oh my goodness, how am I going to know how much if I'm just shaving it? They actually have very small digital, oh gosh, what I want to say, scales. And I'm saying digital because it'll get you very, very pinpointed on your grams and ounces, okay? So let's say you're writing your recipe for 12 candles. You want them all to be a certain color red. You've already gave that color a name and you needed all of them to come out the same way. I would say when you get to the colorant part, I would say weigh it on your little small scale, okay? You're going to have your big scale, but for your wax and your whatever else you're measuring, okay? And also, if you're measuring stuff inside the jar, remember to zero out, weigh your jar, write it down. This is just a quick tip. Write it down. And when you write it down, what's going to happen is after you start adding stuff to that jar, it's going to change. And sometimes we can lose track of what we were doing structurally. Remember that? Okay, so structurally, and we know what we're putting in it, and we got all our ingredients in front of us, and we got our scales, and we're ready to measure. We're getting to the colorants, and we're writing it all down. Remember not to misinput the wrong type of liquid in there. And if you're going to use the blocks, it is okay to use a small scale. Okay, so that you really know how much you want to write down, especially if you want them all to turn out the same. So you might weigh out 2 pounds of wax or whatever it takes to do your mini candles for that day. And I would suggest shaving it onto the small scale so you can get your amount, how much you use. Did you use an ounce? Did you use 0.5? Whatever you do. But I think that'll help you save a little money to not just do a bunch of jars. Okay, you can practice these colors. Yeah, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You'll be practicing layering. You'll be practicing layering if you, yeah. So if you practice with your colorants, then yeah, I guess I'm gonna add that tip to it too. You'll be practicing your layers. So if after 2 or 3 of them you feel like you got it, hey, here's the idea. Go in the bottom of one with a green and put in the middle of it white and put it on the top of it red and call it apples and make it smell like apples. If you just testing to see what those 3 colors look like and it turned out to be sellable, a saleable product, you might perfect the blending of scents that way. Okay. The only other, I know of 2 other kind of colorants. One is, I see they put micas in them, but I see that just gives a shimmer while it's burning. I haven't seen where it's colored the wax on the outside. And maybe if you use it inside a gel, per my experience, I feel like it smothers my wick a little bit. So that's my experience I want to share with you. I feel it makes my gel burn a little slower. And I didn't keep playing with it because I'm not sure even how far I was going to go into that part. I like putting it in my soy though, and my wax blended candles. Okay, so those are 3 I know about so far. Now I'm gonna hit you with a number 4. All right, now the next type of candle coloring that I personally know about would be, I call them chips. They're usually called chips, flakes. Oh gosh, what do you call them? Well, one company calls theirs diamond something, and another company has it in the shape of stars. They're just little concentrated chips. Those are easier when you are making your formulas. Sorry, I couldn't get that out. For making your formulas. And that's only because if per these 20 candles, per your 5 pounds of wax, you could actually count how many diamonds it took you to get to your color. Count your stars up, count your wax blocks up. And then, you know, every time you do, plumeria is scented and it's going to be red. And it's going to be the exact same red every time. Boom, you know to put that many diamonds or that many color blocks inside your wax. Okay, and let it blend, let it mix, let it melt thoroughly. Okay. Don't just say, oh, my wax looks like it's ready. I like to stir it. Sometimes the color gets concentrated on the bottom of your pot. All right. Yeah, you just, and that's why I say it's a lot of practicing probably in the beginning. Do not get discouraged. Just like, have your little book like, okay, that didn't work. Don't mean you give up. It means you change the way you do it. Or even if you don't want to change the way you do it, maybe you just need to do it again. Do it at different temperatures. But we'll talk about that another time. Okay. Flakes. Flakes to me are super concentrated. And again, it's just what I'm saying. It's flakes of color that are very, very concentrated, and you just could sprinkle it. So I guess it would be the equivalent of, had I take one of my blocks maybe and spread it out and then make thin chips. I still like the block. That's my way. Okay. And I feel like they last so long. They last a long time. They really concentrated. So I hope I was able to help at least one person that is starting fresh and maybe have made a mistake. Like, well, why my color turn out like that? Or why in that thing is going pop, pop? What's going on? Hopefully I helped you troubleshoot some things about coloring your candles if you're just starting to be a candle maker. I hope you stay with me and learn with me on this journey as I become a millionaire candle girl. And you make millions too at making candles. Please follow me here if you like to share me with somebody. And colorants, flakes, micas, oil safe, liquid, pigment, and color blocks. I hope I got them all. Well, at least the ones that I've used. Peace.